Welcome everyone. This is our first podcast by IBG Games. We call this IBG Weekly. I am Achila Ranga Mohotige, and I'm the founder of IB Games. And with me I have today Avatar Stanny, who is also known as Stanny, and he is our lead writer. And we have Bhupati with us, who is our CTO, our tech lead.
Hello guys. Hi.
And we have Shafraz Noor, who is our art lead. Say something, Shafraz. Not just deep breathing. Just say something. Anywho, we're going to be discussing a few things. Just the whole program that we have going is that we will discuss some things that we're doing in our studio, things that we might have cooking in the pot, so as to say. And then we'll quickly jump over to some hot topics that's happening in the games industry. And we have a couple of topics lined up already. And before that, we'll just quickly let everyone know what we're up to. So very recently, we have begun development on our mobile game that's still in the works, still in prototype phase. However, we've been teasing it on our Facebook page, but nothing substantial has been revealed yet. So we will keep that on tight wraps. But more recently than that, we have been revealing some very cryptic videos with the hashtags of horror and I'm pretty sure that our initial 5 or 6 members will be wondering, who are coming from that page, what the heck is all this, and could we bring to light what exactly it is that we are doing with that. I'd like Avatar Stani to just give a quick word or two about what's happening and when they can expect to see the game.
Well, I like to keep this short, like Bill Words. Sure, it's a horror game. That's all I can say. But it's not precisely a horror game, but it's just more like an experience. So, well, there's nothing to be revealed. Yeah, I can't reveal anything yet because I'm just not ready to talk about it. But sure, we'll be able to talk about it in like a couple of podcasts after. But until then, like, stay tuned. Yeah. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Just literally yesterday, I put the final touches to the game. It's there, but we need to just go over it and brush it up and dust out any bugs and odd behaviors. And the game is pretty much ready to go. But we'll keep the in-depth discussion of that when we release the game, because there's a lot to show and talk about apparently, and I'm going to have Stanny explain everything about it, or just discuss about it at a later date.
Sure, obviously.
Regarding the other game, we are planning on releasing that sometime at the end of the year if everything goes very well. All we can say right now is that it's a sci-fi action mobile game, and it's multiplayer, and people can expect it to be pretty intense for a game coming out of IB Games. It's going to be our most ambitious title yet, and of course our whole motto is to just keep making games that push our own boundaries and improve our skills. So it's an exciting game. We call it Project LBW right now, And that's all we can talk about until we have anything else. We will probably start revealing progress and sneak peeks of that game every week. Once we've got anything substantial to show, we'll line up some juicy tidbits. Okay, so let's move on to just topics on the news and happenings in the games industry, and we'll start off with Google that just revealed their Stadia game streaming service.
It's a console. It's a console.
Is it? It's a console?
Yeah.
Well, it's a console, but on the cloud, It's on the
Yes.
cloud. But it's not a physical console.
Yeah.
It's a virtual console.
So what do you guys
Yes.
think? Like, I mean, they say that they are going to like integrate it with YouTube and all that, and that their recommendations for the bandwidth itself really it was jaw dropping.
Yes.
So yeah, you guys, let me know your thoughts.
All right.
So I think that like from where I am coming, I see this as a like an initial threat, because we have like slowest connection like compared to other countries in the world. But I'm saying like compared to other Asian countries in the world, even India has a decent connection. And earlier it was said to be that it was 25 megabits. That's the recommended connection to make.
No,
Stadia
actually,
work.
it's the minimum, right?
No, it's the recommended. It's the recommended.
Seriously?
Yeah, but the minimum they are like saying is that like if we can able to like stream a YouTube video, Google Stadia will work perfectly fine. I think for the most part, even YouTube videos doesn't load properly in Sri Lanka anymore. I think that Google should consider like something that should be like something that's very much easy for like I don't think so this business model will stay that long. So I don't know, what do you think, Bhupati?
Well, first of all, I gotta say that I actually thought about this like a couple of years ago. When I was in college, we had this module. They taught us about cloud computing and how what the future holds in there. And I thought of this exact thing. It's the technical term is actually GaaS, means gaming as a service. And I thought about it, and I came home and I googled and see if anyone was doing something like that, but I couldn't find anything back then.
There were a couple of streaming services, right?
Well, services, you mean like for the PS4 they had something like that, remote play or something.
PlayStation Now.
Now, yeah, right, that one, yeah. But the thing is that you both of you needed like PlayStation for that, Now this thing is like more broad, like you could play any game you buy or subscribe to in literally any device,
Oh, yeah.
That's the great thing about Stadia. And in my opinion, it's like it could be really convenient, I mean, you don't have to worry about updates, that's like a major concern for a lot of people, right? I mean, like weekly updates, and it's like multiple GBs, right? So it's gotta be like painful to do that.
Yeah, but
so,
so what I was going to say is that it actually looks pretty decent on the customer side of the base, but when you come to the developer side of the base, because Google Stadia servers run on Linux, and we separately need to port every one of our games to make it work on Stadia, and I think that's not pretty much a good deal. It's not a good business model. If you take PlayStation Now, or like for an example, like Apple Arcade or other streaming services from Microsoft and other people that are doing, I think they don't need to port any shit. Like just Google Stadia just says that you might need to port in order to make it work on make it run on Stadia. And for example, if you stream a standard HD movie in Netflix, it runs like it takes up to like 3 GBs, and like if you see that in Stadia, it can run games up to like in 4K, and that's like triple the size of a 3 GB file. So if you're gonna play a game for like 1 hour, imagine how much data it'll like burn.
Yep.
That's the major
a
thing.
concern. Yeah. But the thing is that a lot of countries, I mean, a lot of underdeveloped countries are still like have limited internet connection,
Exactly.
But like a lot of major countries has like a really good internet connection, like starting from 100 Mbps. That's like a really good speed, and they have like really good packages as well. I mean, we still don't have an unlimited package in Sri Lanka. I mean, I worked at a place and we had like top up our office package like every month in the middle of the month, and it was like crazy. I mean, nobody has that access to the internet.
Some person was saying that my home broadband package currently has more data than his company's broadband package, which is ridiculous.
I think Google just it just made this Google Stadia whole pattern thinking that the whole world has a decent internet connection.
Yes,
I think that's just absurd. I think they should have reconsidered that people. Yeah.
Well, but I think here's the deal. I don't think that right after releasing it will be like available for all the countries.
Yes.
It's probably going to be like PSN. I mean, we still don't have PSN, right?
Yeah.
We cannot like use our credit cards to buy
exactly
game, so it's a painful thing. The thing is that they probably know that which countries have that kind of internet access for them to like enjoy and use their service well. So I think that it will be like they will like do some
but I was trying what I was gonna come back is to like that Google Stadia really needs to like consider people that like use
I think Google is I don't think they don't realize that even in a country like America, what Angry Joe even said, like he doesn't have the broadband bandwidth that is necessary to get Stadia playing as it's meant to be played,
Damn, seriously?
Yeah, because even in those countries, right, not everywhere is the network as robust, right? So he's in like Texas or somewhere, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And a lot of these people who have been discussing their major point is that there's just not enough customers for them to be feasible. But what I think Google is doing here is they're setting the tech and they want to sit on it and just make sure that once the network providers are able to ramp up their service and give better bandwidth throughout these countries, right? First, the developed nations will, the first world nations will be getting better bandwidth and all that and crazy stuff, and everyone's going to have their gigabit connections. And what Google wants to be is just ready for this service. With this service, once the networks catch up and they have the money, they can sit on it,
I know, right? Yeah.
Because they're that kind of crazy company that's making billions of dollars. So they could let this sit and just iron out the kinks and be ready when the bandwidth catches up with the service. I think that's that they're playing the long term kind of fight, and I kind of support it. I can see why it's. I can see why it's really exciting for something like that. At the same time, there's just so many negative points regarding that. Just that we'd never be able to experience it.
I mean, like, I think that Google may have opened their mouth too quickly or too soon, because I think they should have just like tested it out.
If we were to compare this to like the wealth of people spread out around the globe, right? This is the equivalent of a service that is for the top 1% of the top 1% almost, of gamers.
Yeah,
like you got to have like the best bandwidth, and in order to afford that, even in these countries, you need you need to be paying a lot of money for that.
Yeah, the people who will be like playing on Stadia will be
initially
those guys. Those guys you will see like
it'll be PewDiePie.
but the thing is, we won't be seeing Google Stadia on our country for at least like 25 years.
No.
That's what I believe.
Look, man, right now my internet, right? The way my internet behaves is, if there's rain, it takes the form of an A4 paper, and then it dissolves, and then I have no internet. Right? So I think there's a long way to go before Sri Lanka ever gives us that kind of bandwidth.
Exactly. Yeah. But where Sri Lanka is going is pretty good. I don't want to get too close.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that, because then you'll eventually get into politics and bullshit. And let's move on to the next topic, because we've said all there is to be said on that, and we were going into deep waters.
Yes, this time we have.
And we're going to go into deeper waters with this next topic. In fact, we're going to be jumping right into the ocean, boys. You guys must have heard of a game called Rape Day? Shafraz, you might not have heard of such a game.
Oh, please don't. I had to actually, like, to make everything straight, I'm the one who came up with the topics, and I had to play the game. To see how
Why?
it works.
You mean you played
Oh
this
my
entire
god,
game?
you played?
Well, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. Okay, it has options to refuse like certain dark things.
Fetishes.
It's basically like you can either do this woman or do not. Like you have the option.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. So let me just say what the story is behind Rape Day, because I mean, the topic is controversial. I mean, the game's title itself is controversial, and I think a lot of our viewers might not be aware of what this game is. It is a game that is like a visual novel available on Steam that's been a hot topic because it allows the player to commit acts of illegal nature.
By the way,
it's like
Steam
sexual
actually
harassment
delisted
and
it.
stuff.
And
And
it's gone from
so
Steam.
so even the person who published the game said that it was more of an experiment for him. He wanted to see what he can get away with by putting it up on Steam. And for anyone not aware, Steam currently has this very bad curating service, which is kind of automated, so it's hard to catch these stuff. So I think he was just trying to see like what he can push past the algorithm, and it seems he can push past some crazy stuff. Because he pushed past a game that allows the player to commit rape. So this is the topic that's currently on. But Steam recently has allowed what is known as adult games to be published on their service, right?
It's the hands-off approach. That's what they're
so very recently, a lot of Japanese adult game creators have actually published their titles on Steam. And a lot of fans of adult games have actually rejoiced because finally a lot of these Japanese developers were giving a lot of weight and consideration to actually translating these experiences, I guess. And a lot of people were really happy about it until this crazy game kind of came to the limelight. And the media kind of shone a spotlight on this one. And now it's a huge issue of should games like this be available on Steam, and what is the big deal about Rape Day? So this is what we'll be describing.
Yeah. So I think for the most part, when you said about the Japanese adult games are going to be available, I think Spoopity is pretty psyched about it. Are you? I know that you adore Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Well, it's not really R-rated, like in the sense of the stuff that are coming into Steam right now, like it's not really like porn related stuff.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like makes sense because such a company like Steam and their massive library, it's pretty much acceptable that they they do this with like automated algorithm, and it will be able to get passed through. But I also think it has a dark side to it because if some indie guy just uploaded a game from his studio, it just like, let's just say someone from the guy's enemy or something like puts a dislike, and he just gathers other people to do the same thing, and the game will just go out because of the automated algorithm. I think that Steam should just do this with
there needs to be a hands-on approach.
Yeah, exactly. Even Steam can approach like community-based services, like people from the community do that. So I think that really did. I think I really like this guy. I recently saw an interview that he gave out of the game, and he worked on this game for for 2 years, if I'm correct. I'm not really sure.
2 years.
Yeah. It has over 500 images and like 7,000 words, like dialogues.
Crazy, right?
He spent effort on it.
Well, for experiment, it's like
basically he worked on for like 2 years and 5 to 6 days a week, for almost an hour and a half, and that's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what really went through his head when he came up with this idea, but I'm really curious to know why did he came up with this idea.
No, I think he originally just wanted to make an adult game, and he wasn't really planning on putting it up on Steam, but he thought, what the hell.
Oh, yeah.
But this much dedication must have been something, and especially
this is no joke. Yeah, he's put effort. Yeah,
I think that he's let's just say he wants to see the world burn or something.
Nah, I don't think so.
After all, specifically, he's making a game about something so controversial, and there are people who are legitimately affected by this, and between all these threats, I'm pretty impressed that these guys keep going on. So, any thoughts on that, people?
The first thing that I saw when this topic came out on the internet, that people are saying that, oh, this is so disgusting. How can you allow this on games? How can people enjoy this?
Exactly.
But then again, some people, a 1% of the people were saying the games y'all playing right now are basically violence. You rip apart people, or punch them to death. Pee on them or something like that. In Postal. Yeah. So that's there. So how can you say that one thing is worse than the other?
I mean, I really like
kind of like a gray area.
Yeah. I really like the whole part where he tried to justify what he did, because on an interview he also said that over 40% women prefer rape fantasies, and just what is he?
that was him just getting away with it, but that games do have violence, so exactly. How can you say that that raping women is worse than just killing someone and peeing on their body? I mean, you can. It's like yeah. I mean, did you play Postal? I mean, that's basically the premise for the whole game.
Yeah,
and you can just hit them with a shovel.
There's even a scene on Last of Us near the end segment where this character played by Nolan North is trying to like
Oh, yeah.
abuse Ellie, and Ellie is even a child. And in this game, there's not like he didn't show any underage people being
Yeah,
raped. Yeah, but I think that there's I don't know why, but it all sounds like a big blank for me.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he sure did like push some boundaries, that's for sure. He did really push some boundaries from this, but I gotta say this guy got some balls to him. I really can't wait to see what he come up with next.
Actually, he did mention that he's gonna work on a adult game.
Oh, God,
you know,
okay.
yeah. So you can really see that what his mind is like going into. So his interest is in that area. So yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just an observation.
Yeah, and also like this kind of piece, it really grabbed my eye. It says that he said that some people have played it and the general feedback I get is like people that read the news and thought it was like full, a simulation like Grand Theft Auto type game, and they're like, no, this is shit. It's I think that it's kind of makes sense for the most part, but I still I don't know, but he did really I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, was this on Steam before it got delisted?
Yes, it was on Steam, right?
It was.
Was it for free?
When I got there, I mean, I was curious about it, and I went there and see like if he was like giving it out for free or like is there something to pay. But I don't think it was available for download even when I got in there. I don't know what happened.
I mean, all these resources that are available to tell story by ourselves, and this guy used it for something like this. I don't know. Yeah. So okay. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Achal?
Well, I think that mainly this wouldn't have come to light. This game wouldn't have come to light if it had moved through the Steam's algorithm and it was available for the major games public to see it. So I think the main thing is that really this is yet another testament that Steam needs to get their stuff together and make sure that they curate their games and make sure they know what's coming onto their platforms so that they can kind of negate stuff like this ever happening. And that is kind of a good segue to our next topic, which is that Epic has come into the games publishing platform of choice thing with their Epic store, and they have been aggressively signing exclusives, trying to take away the business from Steam, and they're trying to knock on the top dog that is currently PC's main games publishing service platform is Steam, and Epic has brought what they believe is the competition, the one that will defeat the king. And their whole strategy lies around just driving up truckloads of cash to AAA developers and saying, you're going to release on PC exclusively on Epic launcher. So what do you guys think on this?
I think that they obviously gotta put it right there. They can't defeat Steam whatsoever. Like Steam's been in the game for too long. There's no way that they will be able to do that. Like I think that they even in GDC, Allison, I think Allison is the head of the curator team on the Epic Store, I guess, Steve Allison. So like this is I don't know if it's a he or a she. I think that's a man or a woman. I'm not even sure. So I think he said that he don't want to do this again after the controversial thing that they pulled on Metro Exodus. So basically I was pretty heartbroken because the day before they made the exclusivity, I bought it on Steam, and the Steam actually almost showed me this notification saying if you want a refund or something like that. And after that, there was another news saying that the people who bought on Steam will be able to keep it. So that's how it goes. But I think that Epic is what I think. If they want to take on Steam, Epic should really improve the things that they have in their store. I mean, the Steam has chat option, and in Epic you can't even change your damn profile picture for some reason. So I think that Epic needs to stand up straight before taking on Steam. I think it's just really absurd that what they're trying to do. I think they might have learned their lesson after all the controversial stuff. Maybe, I don't know. What's your thoughts on this book?
Actually, when you think about this rape day kind of topics, I mean, you kind of get what Epic is like trying to do. You know, they're like trying to bring in like a different way of handling the distribution of games. You know, and it's actually kind of good for us as well as indie developers, because I mean the cut is really low compared to Steam, right? But the thing is that with Epic Store, that not everybody can get their games into it. You know, they literally said that they do not allow crappy games. So I mean, it's like kind of subjective to like say like this game is crappy, you know, because
Exactly. What makes a crappy game? Yeah. So
crappy
who
game,
decides that?
Yes.
yeah, who
Like,
decides?
I mean, where do they draw the line?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
and like what kind of parameters they are looking at? Is it the graphics? Is it the gameplay? Is it the
Yes.
stories? Like it's like a broad subject, you know. You cannot just you know.
Yeah, we'd like a clear
Right,
definition
some
on crappy.
Yeah, yeah, like what makes a game crappy, you know, like we have no idea.
And I think Epic Games, who was his name? Tim Sweeney?
Tim Sweeney, yeah.
Yeah, I think he would just say, yeah, for examples of crappy games, please just take a look at the green light of Steam's library and just see all those games in there. Yeah, we define those as crappy. I mean, he could say something corny like that, but really, we really need a clearer clarification on exactly what makes a crappy game in his mind, and so that all games developers can at least get this bar that Epic sets, that you need to go over it in order to be able to sell your game on their platform. I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So for the most part, if they say they don't accept crappy games, why do they have Fortnite?
Fortnite is a good game. I mean,
Well, the game designing is really good, you know.
here's the thing. I'm just gonna say the facts about Fortnite, right? Fortnite is what made it possible for them to bring those truckloads of cash up to the AAA publishers and say, yeah, your game is going on Epic Store, not on Steam, boy. So I think that game is really amazing, and I just think of it as public service. Really, all the little kids are off playing in Fortnite, and we can.
I mean, I just like, you know, I'll agree with you, but I don't think so. Prince Harry would agree with you. No, for the most part, like, you know, I mean, okay, for coming back to the crappy thing, I think that like, since Epic Games is like really fresh right now, we don't have, as developers doesn't have to worry about a single thing. But since that Epic may have some customer base as of now, I think that it's going to affect a lot of like small time developers, like especially like if a company has some sort of resource, I don't think so that it's going to affect them most, because they can just certainly go to Steam and just distribute their game however they want. But like really small time people, they can go to Epic, because since it's a fresh thing, so really small time developers can go and ask for them, and they can literally say no, even though if it's good for some reason. So I think that's going to affect a lot of devs, and I think that Epic should really reconsider before they throw out just random words for a company that copies Respawn.
Well, let me just bring my thoughts into bear as well on this. Is that what Epic is doing currently, and it was said really well in a video by Jim Sterling. If you guys haven't watched him, please do go and watch him. He really does make great points on these stuff. And what he was saying is that the whole problem is that Steam has had a monopoly all this time, and they've been really the cut that they take from the games that are being sold is not really too beneficial for small time game developers, right? And now that Epic Games have come in and they have set these lower percentages that they take from sales and stuff, it makes it really enticing for games developers to really put their games up there. And on top of that, they're aggressively attacking the Steam's marketplace by taking away big titles. So the whole point here that I'm trying to make is that this is the culture that has come up in the games industry, is the idea of fair competition and all that doesn't exist. What everyone is trying to establish is a monopoly with the illusion of competition, right? So they're like, yeah, you have these other guys, but you really know if you want a PC game, you go to Steam, right? That's essentially what it is. But Epic is coming in to try and destroy all of that. They're not coming in to stand beside them. They're trying to drop them down and take over become the king of the hill, essentially. So I think this strategy that they're doing makes all kinds of sense if you take into consideration what it is that the games industry has become. They want to have complete control, a monopoly, and unfortunately this is how it's going. And overall, what will happen if Epic actually manages to succeed in their plans, is that they're just gonna be the next Steam. They're going to be the guys who set all the rules, and that's not exactly what you want. What will hopefully happen in this big ass battle that's going on between Steam and Epic is the both of them will become almost equals, and they start really competing with each other, and then the consumer will also start to benefit from that.
Maybe I think that it will be like something like Uplay, but I'm pretty sure that Steam is pretty sure that Epic is like really pressuring the studios that are using Unreal Engine. It's like almost they will like threatening these people, like,
well, that's that's speculation. You cannot really say that, right? It's just all speculation, but I mean, you can think that there might be some pressure, but just
that's true.
All right, then, talking about AAA games developers getting exclusivity on Epic, we can move on to our beloved AAA studio, CD Projekt. I think I pronounce it properly. CD Projekt. Because everyone's saying pretty.
No. It's CD Projekt or something.
No, what the hell? We could. It someone went Projekt? I think it was No Clip that he was kept on saying CD Projekt, and I was like, that's it. That's the one. CD Projekt.
Nikolaj.
All right. So they. So CD.
That's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference.
If we were to really pronounce this in English, it would be CD Projekt. Projects. And they have been making Cyberpunk 2077 all these years. And
since 2013, that's crazy.
And now they've pretty much said it will be out by 2021, as well as another AAA RPG that they're also having in the works. So I'm thinking they're parallelly developing these two games, and 2021 is just coming up. I mean, we are 2019, so I mean, they haven't even announced what this other AAA game is. Maybe we'll hear about it this E3.
They did say something back in 2016, along with the announcement of Thronebreaker and other that Gwent card game. I think that it's something that belongs to the Witcher universe, but
it's probably a spin-off or something.
It's not going to follow Geralt's the whole saga.
Oh God, I really do. I really would enjoy another trip into the Witcher universe. Thank you.
Yes. Of course. It's going to be crazy knowing that it's. I think the engine they're using is what is this called? I can't remember. It's the Red Engine, right? I think they're using the latest version of a new version for the the Cyberpunk game.
Yeah,
it's going to be mind-blowing thing. I mean, they even recently announced that every asset they have put into the game is like manually placed. So it's like once you run over a garbage something, it's gonna stay the same the rest of the game. And that's just crazy. Imagine how many how it's big gonna be. Like it's massive in number. I mean, I'm just really excited since they showed the demo. I don't know, man. I'm like talking about it just gives me
goosebumps
in a good way.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, frankly, this is going to be one of those first games that are. I don't know. This is something about RPG games set in the sci-fi realm that it's so hard for me to get behind. But Cyberpunk has me really excited for its release because I just feel it's a substantial experience that you're going to get. You're not going to be having that experience like, and I'm going to be quoting Assassin's Creed on this. So it's just the explanation behind. You just turn a corner and you sit on a bench and the people who are chasing you are like, where'd you go?
I mean, Cyberpunk gets me it's like seeing the demo of Beyond Good and Evil 2 also gets me hyped up to some level. But I don't think so that's going to stand for the hype that Cyberpunk has. Because, I'm pretty impressed by how CD Projekt Red is handling this right now. Because it's their first ever title. Every other, it doesn't matter like how big your studio is, but if you're really going to tackle something different from what you've been doing as usual, it's going to be a lot of pressure on these guys. But I think I gotta say bravo to these people that they're handling it so cool with the community. If you go and see the Twitter page, it's like so like they're like really close with the community, and that's just really good.
Yes, I mean, recently we've had a beloved RPG studio try on their take for a brand new genre of game, and they crashed and burned, and that is Anthem. And let's hope, and I think CD Projekt won't have any of those problems, honestly. I think these guys have a clear idea and they've been making this game and tinkering away at it, perfecting
they exactly know where they are going.
Yes,
and that's a hard thing to figure out. Like you're especially a developer, and I think CD Projekt is pretty much like Rockstar. I think they are like pretty much like.
They know what they are doing,
the same business model.
Yeah. And on top of, I think they're just simply better than Rockstar. They have a heart as well. And the whole thing is about giving the best experience possible, and as well as just leaving us with a kiss afterwards and saying, all right, we got even more content coming up and we're not going to rip you off for it. I just love that about them. And that just really shows, they come from humble beginnings. They come from Poland, which is in itself, it's not like a super developed nation, and it shows, when you have humble roots, you have these people who are earnestly just working to make entertainment, and that is what CD Projekt is, and that's why I'm 100% behind them and really excited to just try out their games, because they all of them come from the heart, it.
Yes.
It's not from the money they're going to make.
I mean, from when a company like EA says that single-player games are dying, and Santa Monica and CD Projekt Red just jumped right in and said, no, it's not dead. We are going to do this. And it's just a slap in the face from both sides for a company like EA.
Yeah.
I think that's
All right,
pretty
then.
impressive.
Yeah, I mean, oh god. Yeah, but the biggest speculation is what. So they're saying these two games are coming before 2021. They can't just release them both in the same year or something like that. So I'm just wondering which. So we have one game that we haven't really seen it for ourselves. We just have rumors, and then we have one game that they have shown us some stuff. So I'm thinking probably Cyberpunk will come out 2020.
Yep. That's what I think as well.
And then
early 2020,
or even I mean it's too much to hope
Speculate,
for and speculate. I think because I think we'll see something E3. I think this E3 will be the kind of moment where if they do have this other AAA,
they even
they'll be
said
showing it all.
that 2019 is the most important year because
It
they're
must
starting marketing campaign, and it's going to be crazy.
So I think 2020 Cyberpunk, 2021 probably will be the release window for this other AAA.
It's true.
And honestly, we of IB Games are super excited for them, and we're just clamoring, just like all of their fans, for more information.
That's
And
true.
so I think that's it for our discussions topics for the day. Is
I
it?
think I don't know.
There is a few other things, but we are now strapped for time. We are going over our allocated time limit. We were planning on keeping these podcasts to 30 minutes, and we are already running at nearly 1 hour now, 45 minutes and beyond.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So this is going to be a fun time for Stanny to edit and try and drop this as close to 30 minutes as possible. So
Jesus Christ.
good luck on that. And the more I keep talking about this, I'm just gonna push it to 50 minutes.
Come on.
All right, I'm just gonna give my closing right now. So this is what we're planning to do with IB Games right now is we will keep these podcasts up. The whole point of making these podcasts is to have you guys in the know about what we're doing and what we think about the latest news that is in the industry. So you guys can come here anytime to get just a quick update and our thoughts on what's going on and the news and happenings, as well as a sneak peek at what we might be developing. So for all that information, please stick with this show, IBG Weekly. And now we're all signing out. Good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
I think it's the night time, but goodbye.
Yeah, whatever.
Bye bye.